Hi, this is Neil Scoggins with City of Refuge Community Church with this week's Bible Study Rewind. This past Tuesday night, we concluded our series entitled, What's Your Passion? And for those of you that have not been able to attend, please don't miss it. We have an exciting time. It's not your grandmama's Bible study. Everybody gets to participate, and we get to dig a little deep into the Word. It's not spooky. It's not too deep where you'll drown, but it's practical enough where you will start to understand some of the principles that are in the Bible that God really wants us to reach out and grab. Again, we finished the series, What's Your Passion? This past Tuesday night. Let me tell you, if you missed it, you just flat missed it. Everybody was just what I call in the pocket. They were there. We had a young man named BJ, and we'll have some clips of that a little later on here on Facebook. But he did his poetry about I'm totally different than everybody else. A young man, 20 some odd years old, had an outstanding time with him. Elder Maurice Tatum came by, and he ministered to us through music as well. I had to make him sing it twice because we wanted to see the real passion and not that fake passion sometimes that we portray. And we talked about that a little bit. And sometimes that passion that we have is not necessarily real. It's fake, which is not necessarily passion, but more performance. But then we ended the night with a word from Matthew chapter 2. We typically talk about this during Christmas time. It's where the wise men came to see the baby Jesus. They were being led by a star. And we talked about the fact that if you're operating in your passion, you're being led by something greater than yourself and even greater than the traditions of the society in which you were in. If you read that story in Matthew chapter 2, they were guided by a star that led them to the king of the area. And those wise men said, we're looking for the king. What does that sound like? You go to a king and you ask him, where is the King of Kings? And then so they end up in the place where Jesus was. And when they went into the house, the Bible says they bowed down and worship. You cannot have a legitimate encounter with God and not worship. But here's where the passion comes in. What they ended up doing is when they met baby Jesus, the Bible says that they opened up their treasures. In other words, they exposed who they were and what they had and presented it before the baby Jesus. In other words, whatever your passion is, when God gets a hold of it, when you present it before the throne of grace, you will give it back to God. He'll breathe on it and he'll get the glory, and the kingdom will be benefited thereby. You'll be blessed as a byproduct of giving God your passion. Man, it was exciting. Whatever your passion is, whatever your spiritual gift is, whatever that spiritual endowment is, whatever is that one thing, whatever it is, that one thing that God has given you, or several things that God has given you, nurture it. But part of that nurture process needs to be taking it to Christ, taking it to God, laying it before his feet and allowing him to breathe on it. We ended the night with an outstanding musical selection. It wasn't even a performance. It was an issue of passion. They led us to the throne of grace. Travis Larrison and Jackie Larrison, they ended with Take Me to the King. Now, many people don't know this, but that's one of my favorite songs. I just went in. Do you hear me? Take me to the King. Take me to the King. Take my challenges to the King. Take my burdens to the King. But I want to take my passion to the King. I'm tired of taking I'm tired of casting my pearls before swine, but cast your passion before the King, and the King will get the glory, and you will be blessed, and the kingdom will be blessed thereby. Don't you miss Tuesday night Bible study. Every Tuesday night at 7 p.m., we meet at 3400 Roosevelt Road in the city of Little Rock. If you need directions, please inbox me here on Facebook. Also, if you need a special prayer request, inbox me as well, and we'll take those to the throne of grace. Don't miss this Tuesday night, a very special Tuesday night. We'll talk about the Numbers 35 mandate. And for those of you that don't know what that is, you got to join us this Tuesday night. This has been Bible Study Rewind. My name is Neil Scoggins, and we are City of Refuge Community Church.